5 NBA sleeper picks in this year's 2017 NBA draft. My name is Joshua Envyerz. Let's get started first with one of my favorite players in this draft, Malik Monk, who fell all the way to 11 and got picked up by the Charlotte Hornets. I'm shocked that Malik Monk fell to the 11th pick in the draft. We're going to be looking back at this pick in a few years and saying, wow, this guy was a steal in some sense. He's just gets straight buckets. And I know a lot of teams want a more complete player. They look at the height, they look at the offensive ability and defensive ability, and Monk has the offensive ability. He doesn't have the best defense around, and he doesn't have the height for his position. If you guys are following me on Twitter, I was really hoping for Monk to fall to 10 so him and Fox could be on the same team again with the Kings, but that didn't happen. The Kings traded away that 10th pick for the 15th and 20th pick, and they also have Buddy Hield, so it wouldn't really make sense for them to draft a 2 guard. It's all about the fit, but I really hope Malik Monk is able to fit in there with Charlotte and get buckets alongside Kemba Walker. We'll have to see. I mean, he averaged 19.8 points a game in college, so we'll see how that translates over to the NBA. Now let's stay in Charlotte for this next player we're going to be mentioning, and that player is Dwayne Bacon with the 40th pick in the 2nd round. I absolutely love Charlotte's draft picks this year. I think they did a really good job compared to previous years. Bacon's 21 years old, going on 22. Age is a real important factor when it comes to NBA drafts. Height is a big factor, hence the reason why he slipped so far in my opinion. But he's a 6'5" small forward who averaged 17.2 points per game at Florida State University and was that primary scorer for that team. So hopefully the Charlotte Hornets give some of these rookies some playing time. Obviously rookies aren't going to change the culture and change the game for the Hornets, but they just got Dwight Howard. They're looking like a playoff team again. We'll have to wait and find out what happens, but Dwayne Bacon looks to be a nice promising player for the future with the Hornets. Now let's move up in the draft a little bit and talk about the 34th pick. The Kings select Frank Mason III, a senior out of Kansas who's 23 years old, 5'11", and like I mentioned earlier, that's what the draft hates. They hate short players for their position, and they also look at the age, and Frank Mason kind of fits both of those molds. But this man gets buckets. He had 20 points per game last season. Now the years he's played NCAA basketball, he has 3 Player of the Year honors. The obvious comparison is a guy like Isaiah Thomas, who's like 5'9", and I personally like to compare him to Tyler Ulis, who last year was a 2nd round pick and got a ton of playing time for a rebuilding Phoenix Suns team. I feel like Frank Mason III could definitely have a Tyler Ulis role this year with the Kings that Tyler Ulis had last year with the Suns. It really all depends on who the Kings sign in the free agency. I mean, if they're going to re-sign Darren Collison or go after somebody else. But smaller guards are definitely showing they belong in the NBA, and to stop picking them so late. Next, we have the Lakers picking Josh Hart with the 30th pick in the NBA draft. Personally, I thought that he would be a 2nd round draft pick considering he's a senior, played all 4 years in college. He got better each and every single year. More points, more rebounds, more assists, and he also won Big East Player of the Year last season. I know I said earlier I really like the Charlotte Hornets draft picks, but I kind of like the Lakers draft picks too. I mean, they got Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, and Thomas Bryant. Here's hoping Josh Hart could make the team. I feel like he'll be a solid shooting guard in the league. He has the size for it. Averaged 18.7 points per game last season. I feel like he'll do just fine in the NBA, and I'm kind of upset the Spurs didn't draft him with that 29th pick. So best of luck to Josh Hart, and hopefully he balls out and proves the people that picked before him that, hey, maybe I should have been a pick ahead of you. Lastly, we have Nigel Williams-Goss, who was drafted by the Utah Jazz with the 55th pick in the NBA draft. Solid point guard, could be a decent role player in the league, and it kind of reminds me of Marcus Page, which oddly enough, Marcus Page was drafted by the Utah Jazz with the 55th pick last year. And now if you look at Marcus Page, he's not even in the league, even though if he did have a solid NCAA career at UNC. In Marcus Page's last year at UNC, he made it to the national championship game and came up short. Similar story to Williams-Goss, was carrying the national championship team at some points until he hurt his ankle, went out for a few minutes, and Gonzaga ended up losing and UNC won. Just not with Marcus Page on the UNC team. Am I making any sense if you don't watch college basketball? Hopefully. What I'm trying to say is their stories are very similar, and I hope the case that Nigel Williams-Goss is able to have a successful career and not be given any opportunities in the NBA. My closest comparison to him is a guy like Malcolm Brogdon, but in a point guard form, even though if Malcolm Brogdon is kind of like a combo guard. Hopefully he's given a chance. These are just 5 players that came to my mind that I feel like slipped and could eventually become decent role players or even possible starters or stars in the league, or at least 1 or 2 of them. With that said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like on it if you did. Share it on any social media and check out some of these other videos I have on screen right now. If you feel like I missed someone that slipped in the draft and it could be a possible sleeper in the NBA, be sure to let me know in the comment section. I'll be sure to read them and try to chat with you guys. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll talk to you guys later.